Alice in Wonderland is a vibrant, psychedelic journey into a world of pure imagination. Yet, beneath the dazzling colors and nonsensical songs,
you can learn a lot of things from the floor,
lies a profound, terrifying narrative about the breakdown of identity, the fear of insanity, the collapse of logic, and a child's desperate struggle maintain order in a chaotic, adult-driven world. Viewer discretion is highly advised. We are diving down the rabbit hole to uncover 10 dark secrets.
Mr. Rabbit, wait!
No, I'm overdue. I'm really in a stew. No time to say goodbye.
That will shock you about Alice's complex, mature, and deeply disturbing subtext. Let's begin. Dark psychological and ethical conflicts 1. Alice's existential identity crisis and loss of self. Alice's journey is not a simple adventure. It is a continuous, agonizing existential identity crisis. As she constantly changes size, she frequently asks, "Who in the world am I?" This is the central psychological terror of the film, of her consistent, definable self. She is repeatedly unable to recognize her own body or recall basic facts, raising the chilling question of impending psychological breakdown or insanity. Wonderland is a terrifying metaphor for a mental state where self-perception is unreliable. Alice's desperate need for structure, like reciting lessons or remembering rules, is a coping mechanism against the total annihilation of her identity. The film expertly captures the deep-seated fear that every child and adult carries the moment when external reality and internal self no longer match, leading to an absolute feeling of being lost. 2. Fear of authority and adult tyranny. Wonderland is a nightmare world governed entirely by erratic, hostile, and utterly irrational adult tyranny. The Queen of Hearts, with her constant, impulsive cry of "off with their heads," symbolizes the arbitrary and disproportionate cruelty of adult power as perceived by a child. This is a world where rules are constantly changing, and justice is non-existent, reflecting a child's frustration with the illogical demands and sudden anger of adults. Every adult character, from the Mad Hatter to the Caterpillar, holds a position of power. Of them are stable, reasonable, or benevolent. They punish Alice simply for trying to understand their rules. The film is a devastating critique of the adult world's capacity for chaos and irrational violence, viewed through the terrified eyes of a child trying to make sense of inexplicable commands and threats. 3. The psychological danger of nostalgia and regression. Alice enters Wonderland primarily because she is bored with the structured, educational reality of her sister's world, craving a place of pure fantasy. However, Wonderland quickly turns this craving for fantasy into a terrifying ordeal. The film subtly warns against the psychological danger of regressing into pure, unstructured, childish chaos. Alice's desire to escape responsibility and logic leads her to a place where neither exists, proving that unchecked escapism leads not to freedom, but to a different form of existential confinement. Her eventual frantic desire to return home is the recognition that structure, rules, and reality, however dull, are essential anchors for sanity and a stable identity. The film suggests that while imagination is vital, a complete rejection of responsibility and reality is a shortcut. Biological realities and the dark laws of nature. 4. The consumption theme and loss of bodily autonomy. The film is riddled with anxiety surrounding consumption and the total loss of bodily autonomy. Alice is constantly forced to consume unknown substances, drink me potions, eat me cakes that drastically, and often violently, alter her body size. This serves as a profound metaphor for a child's feeling of powerlessness over their own physical development and the objects they are forced to ingest. The constant shrinking and growing reflect a child's genuine confusion and anxiety about the rapid growth. The very act of consumption becomes a life-threatening gamble. The food and drink in Wonderland are therefore tools of chaos, not sustenance, transforming her body into an unpredictable trap. The theme taps into the deep, biological fear of losing control over one's own physical self. 5. The metaphor of the Mad Tea Party and social ritual failure. The Mad Tea Party is a chilling portrayal of social anxiety and the collapse of civilized ritual. The party is a perverse, never-ending event, stuck permanently at 6 p.m., symbolizing the terror of stasis and meaningless routine. Hatter and the March Hare use social rules to exclude Alice, making her feel clumsy and unwelcome. The gathering is a psychological trap, demonstrating how social gatherings can become hostile environments where communication is impossible, logic is ignored, and cruelty is masked by false cheer. The party's core function is to be perpetually not a real tea party, constantly denying Alice the simple, ordered social interaction she craves. It's a nightmare scenario of failed civilization, where everyone is technically present, yet profoundly isolated by nonsense. 6. The caterpillar and the nihilistic question of existence. The caterpillar is perhaps the most philosophically dark character, symbolizing a nihilistic, detached authority figure who challenges the very basis of Alice's existence. His famous question, "Who are you?" is not asked out of curiosity.
Who are you?
But out of a profound, cold indifference. He forces Alice to confront the emptiness of her own established identity and the arbitrary nature of her reality. The smoke and haze surrounding him further symbolize confusion and the search for obscured truth. He embodies the existential dread, confronting a powerful entity that sees no inherent meaning in your life or purpose. His eventual transformation is a symbol of unpredictable biological change, reinforcing the idea that identity is fluid and entirely dependent on the moment, offering Alice no stable ground to stand on. The threat of civilization and the ending. 7. The dodo and the failure of collective leadership. The dodo, leading the bizarre caucus race, represents the failure of collective leadership and the absurdity of misguided group effort. The race is a perfect metaphor for meaningless, frantic human activity, running in circles with no goal, and an arbitrary conclusion everyone wins. The dodo is an incompetent leader whose solution to crisis is sheer, physical chaos, which only increases the initial problem getting dry. This scene is a sharp critique of societal institutions that promote activity over actual progress. The participants are exhausted and satisfied by their effort, despite achieving nothing. The dodo's leadership highlights the terrifying realization that civilized, collective efforts can often be just as chaotic and destructive as individual madness. 8. The card guards, the mechanized force of a police state. The card guards and their king function as the mechanized, unthinking force of a police state. They are two-dimensional, entirely devoted to obeying the irrational commands of the queen, even when those commands contradict sense, like painting the white roses red. They symbolize the dangerous efficiency of a tyrannical regime that relies on mindless, interchangeable enforcers to maintain order. Their lack of individual thought or personality makes them more terrifying than any monster. Apparatus of terror. Their absolute conformity underscores the profound threat to free thought and expression in Wonderland. Alice's final realization that they are just a pack of cards is the key to her psychological liberation. Understanding that the perceived power of the authoritarian state is often just a fragile, two-dimensional illusion. 9. The White Rabbit's perpetual, anxious haste. The White Rabbit is the catalyst for the entire disaster, symbolizing the anxiety, high pressure, and constant hurry of the modern, time-obsessed adult world. His perpetual lateness and frantic obsession with the clock represent the neurotic nature, a life ruled by arbitrary deadlines and schedules. He is constantly stressed, terrified of authority, the Duchess/Queen, and incapable of pausing for rational thought. He is the psychological manifestation of adult anxiety, a creature trapped by the demands of time and social obligation. Alice's Pursuit of him is a pursuit of a flawed ideal, joining the adult world of purposeful haste. His character serves as a chilling foreshadowing of the stress and meaninglessness that often define adult life. 10. The Final Judgment, a breakdown of sanity. The final trial scene, where Alice is the defendant, is the climax of the film's psychological horror, representing a total breakdown of sanity and legal process. The evidence is nonsensical, the witnesses are mad, evidence is even presented. This trial is the ultimate nightmare scenario, being judged, threatened, and condemned by a court of pure, unadulterated madness, where logic is treason. Alice's refusal to accept their authority, "You're nothing but a pack of cards." She realizes that the only way to defeat irrational fear and chaos is to reassert her own sanity and the reality of her own world. The entire sequence is a terrifying metaphor for a mental breakdown, and her escape is her desperate return to conscious reality. Conclusion: so, these were 10 dark secrets of Alice in Wonderland. The film's true genius lies in its profound exploration of identity loss, the fear of insanity, and its devastating critique of irrational adult authority. This animated masterpiece is a complex reflection, survival in a world of pure chaos. Which dark truth about Alice's frightening identity crisis shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe for more deep dive cinematic secrets. Thank you for watching, and remember,